Louisiana is one of my favorite places to visit because I love the food, love the cuisine, love the people out there. But then you have these nightmarish stories like this one. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I think the pictures that I have are accurate. I'm almost 90% sure that they are accurate pictures. They're just not up to date pictures of this girl because she was 15 years old when she passed away. But I'm almost positive that I got this correct. But before we get into the details of this story coming out of Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, let me give you a disclaimer about my content. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Now, I know my people out there in Louisiana, most of y'all know how to get in touch with me. I've got some friends out there, good people out there. If there are details in this story that I have wrong, whether it be the picture or something like that, please let me know if we got this wrong. Even the GoFundMe. I looked at this and it said support Tamira's journey to recovery. And I'm like, what? Like, that's not this child's name, but it's weird because all of these things were tied into these articles that I found. I spent hours of researching this. So something could very well be inaccurate. The AFCmatters at gmail.com. Email me if I got something wrong. This story is coming from WSAZ.com. So thank you for the article. A Louisiana couple has been arrested in connection with a case involving an attempted murder of a 15-year-old girl. And I'm going to tell y'all the details are about to get bad. Real bad, real quick. So brace yourselves. Terrebonne Parish Sheriff Tim Soignet said that the teen was found badly burned. This girl was shot multiple times. I repeat, was shot with a gun multiple times and clinging to life following a vehicle crash in Baytown, Texas on April the 20th. Baytown authorities received calls that the vehicle was driving recklessly on Interstate 10 before crashing on a service road. LaTanya Harris, who's 40 years old, let me get her face up on the screen. I believe this is an accurate picture of them. Everything correlated. They look a little bit different from their mugshots, but I'm almost positive these pictures are accurate and the correct person. That's her on the right-hand side of the screen, LaTanya A. Harris, allegedly 40 years old, and her fiance, 41-year-old Terrence Washington, on the left or right-hand side of the screen now, who was driving the car, were taken into custody. Soignet called the burns to the girl's upper body gruesome. An investigator in Baytown described the teen's injuries, which included gunshot wounds to the chest and face. Two things to this, and I'm going to see if y'all catch it. Because I knew when I heard this, I knew what this man probably did, calling him a stepfather. No, mom's boyfriend. He tried to take her life. Why do you think he would have did that? This man is depraved. He's a depraved individual. And I've tried to warn women, tried to warn you ladies, be careful about these damn fools that y'all bring into y'all house, y'all in a relationship with, you love, and you end up sacrificing your kids because you don't realize that this man is looking at your children as a younger version of you, because these kids look like the mom, a younger version of you, an untainted version of you. And if they're attracted to you, there's a high probability that these dudes will be attracted to your children. We're talking about the depraved mentality. Not all men, not all. Depraved, the depraved mentality. This type of guy. This child was shot multiple times, including gunshot wounds to the chest and face. As the worst she has seen in her entire career. During an interview, Washington reportedly admitted, mom's boyfriend admitted, to sexually abusing the victim for numerous months, while also saying he shot the victim during an argument with Harris at their home in Thibodaux. Sexually abused for numerous months. Police said Washington told them that he was holding a gun in his hand and it went off, striking the girl in the face. No, he tried to kill her because he was trying to end her life because he did not want the evidence of what he did. He wanted to take this child's life and end her life. But he went a lot further than that. According to SoyNet, Washington initially told detectives that he was also responsible for burning the girl. He set this girl on fire. I don't know how he did it, but he burned the girl in February of this year, and the couple was treating it at home. SoyNet said that the couple was with the victim and another minor female child while they were leaving Louisiana for Texas when the crash happened, which is very suspect. After the parents' arrest, the minor was taken home to Louisiana by a family member, with the victim being treated at an area hospital. Detectives said they learned of the gruesome details regarding the teen girl being shot on 2 separate occasions. So it was an accident 2 different times? Is that what he's trying to say? It accidentally went off 2 different times, right? Don't get this GoFundMe confused, because I'm telling y'all, I got this GoFundMe from the articles related to this story. I don't know if that GoFundMe is correct or not. Don't know if that girl's face at age 15 is correct or not. But those pictures are correct. A search warrant was issued for the family's home. Investigators said that they found evidence of a shooting with blood and strong odors of infection and decomposing flesh. This girl was shot on 2 separate occasions with a gun, accidentally, allegedly. In a second interview with Washington, he reportedly backtracked and told detectives that Harris was to blame for the sexual abuse against the victim and for setting her on fire. Harris refused to speak with detectives after being released from a Texas hospital and taken into custody. The 40-year-old was booked for attempted first-degree murder, second-degree cruelty to a juvenile, and domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment. She is being held on a $1 million bond. Washington, who was booked for 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, second-degree cruelty to a juvenile, obstruction of justice, molestation of a juvenile, 3 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 5 counts of second-degree rape. Washington remains in the Harris County Detention Center on charges connected to the crimes in Texas. He will later be remanded to the custody of Terrebonne Parish authorities. SoyNet said that the investigation remains ongoing. I think we can skip this. Baytown Police Chief John Stringer added, anytime a child suffers at the hands of a family member or a household member, it is both tragic and incomprehensible. When the very people whom the child should be able to trust for protection and love them, abuse them. We wish both physically and psychologically healing for the victim of this horrific crime, but this baby was messed up severely, and they put up a very large GoFundMe. I'm going to just show you the GoFundMe I found. If it's correct, fine. If it's not, I will fix it on the replay of this, but let me show you what I found before we go into the news stories. Support Tamira or Tamara's journey to recovery. The names that I found, like none of these names, I just couldn't make sense of one name over another name. $40,000 GoFundMe. But again, this child survived, so this actually made sense. They're naming this girl as 15-year-old Terreny Washington. Terriny. Terreny Washington. So for the naming, I'm just very, very confused when it comes to that. I don't know. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Either way it goes, do me a favor and please share this baby story. If we need to make corrections, we will. Just let me know. But make sure that the information you give me is actually accurate if you do know that some of it is incorrect.
Well, new details tonight in that heartbreaking case of a Terrebonne teen that deputies say was tortured at the hands of her mother and her mother's boyfriend. Tonight, we uncovered DCFS documents.
Yes, this child actually lost an eye, from what I understand. It's bad, real bad.
Documents that showed there was an alleged history of abuse, according to those papers. WDSU reporter Jonah Gilmore is in Terrebonne Parish with the emotional reaction from the teen's father and stepmother.
The family says it's been hard to see the child in a hospital bed, burned from the face down, but they're being strong because she's proving she's a fighter.
Seeing my child for the first time like that was like seeing, it's like seeing someone dead.
The father of a 15-year-old deciding not to show his face, but letting his words describe his pain.
I'm angry. I feel like I let my child on. Like I wasn't there to protect her.
According to the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, the 15-year-old was raped, intentionally set on fire, and shot. The sheriff calls the incident torture at the hands of the child's mother, LaTanya Harris, and the mother's boyfriend, Terrence Washington.
You know, you see things and you hear things like that on TV, but when it's your child, it's not a feeling you could explain. It's not.
According to Louisiana's Department of Children and Family Services, the 15-year-old has severe burns to her body dating back to October of 2023. They say most recently she also sustained gunshot wounds to her chest, cheek, and face, leaving her without an eye.
If you was to see what she looked like and what she'd been through and how she went there.
The child's stepmother, Latricia Johnson, says she is a fighter, showing signs of improvement each day. 23, they say most recently she also sustained gunshot wounds to her chest, cheek, and face, leaving her without an eye.
If you was to see what she looked like and what she'd been through and how she went there.
The child's stepmother, Latricia Johnson, says she is a fighter, showing signs of improvement each day.
Considering all she's been through, I don't even see how she's not mad at the world.
According to DCFS, there were reports of abuse involving the child's mother in 2013 and 2014. A report from the agency says the child was placed in foster care for a short period of time. The family received in-home services once the child returned to the home. The father says another incident happened in 2017. The teen was stranded on the side of the road, and that's when he became the custodial parent. He says in 2022, the child wanted to rekindle a relationship with the mother, and he allowed her to go, something he says he now regrets.
I regret. That's why I feel like it's my fault, because I allow her to go back to try to establish a relationship back with her mom. And I'm sorry that I feel this way, but I should have been that type of, no, you don't need to be wrong.
As the family still tries to understand the why.
We never thought that a child going with their mother would be a bad thing. And in this case, a horrible thing.
They're keeping the teen in high spirits as she works toward recovery.
She was like, Dad, I feel free. I'm finally free.
Just so y'all know, and to clarify, and yes, you're correct in the chat, Alicia, The GoFundMe is for reconstructive surgery, which she's already in the process of going through. That bill is going to be astronomical because it's being classified as cosmetic. So insurance is not going to cover cosmetic surgery to this level. Cosmetic surgery she's absolutely going to need.
And I know where that come from. She's finally able to get away from that and tell her story.
The family tells me the 15-year-old will be undergoing surgery soon. They tell me a lot of the surgeries will have to be cosmetic and insurance doesn't cover it, so they will have to come out of pocket. Reporting in Napoleonville, Jonah Gilmore, WDSU News.
Well, the mother is charged with attempted first-degree murder, second-degree cruelty to a juvenile, and domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment. The mother's boyfriend also faces a list of charges. The two are set to appear in court next month.
Top story tonight, a car crash outside of Houston leads to the discovery of a 15-year-old from Thibodaux who police say was raped, set on fire, and shot on 2 different days.
All that while investigators say another child was forced to watch, and now a woman and her boyfriend are in custody facing several charges. Here's Ashland Brothers.
Terrebonne Parish investigators call it a case of severe abuse and torture.
Thank God that they got caught.
Deputies say a 15-year-old girl ended up in the hospital after her abuser got in a car crash in Texas. That's when medical professionals discovered gruesome burns to her upper body and untreated gunshot wounds to her chest and face. The Baytown Police Department says 41-year-old Terrence Washington admitted to sexually abusing the teen for months before shooting her during a disturbance with 40-year-old LaTanya Harris at their home on the West Park Avenue in Thibodaux. Clyde Chasson was gutted to hear such horrific details.
I think it's atrocious that someone could even think of doing it. I have 17 grandkids, 6 kids, and I just can't even fathom what is going on in their brains.
Washington told police after shooting the victim twice in April, he and Harris took off for Texas with the victim and another child. Fox 8 legal analyst Joe Raspani says this should be a pretty straightforward prosecution.
He's confessed to it. She's basically given herself up to this thing. This is not going to be a hard prosecution.
The other child living in the home told Terrebonne Parish deputies during carnival season she woke up to the sight of her sister's body on fire as Harris stood over the victim's bed with a bottle of rubbing alcohol and a lighter.
The trauma that affects a child, they live it for the rest of their lives. It's just almost impossible to erase that from their memory. I pray for those kids that they can heal and have peace.
Detectives say they later discovered a weapon, blood, and a strong odor of infection and decomposing flesh inside the home.
I believe in mercy, but I believe in justice also.
Harris refused to speak with detectives and is being held at the Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Center on a $1 million bond.
Sometimes you have to learn in life that there are really evil people in this world, and that's what looks like these folks are if these allegations are true. I think these are the people who should not ever be allowed to leave jail.
Washington remains in custody in Texas for crimes committed there. Raspani says Washington will likely be extradited to Terrebonne Parish.
They face decades in prison. If ever a judge is going to give you consecutive time, this could very well be the time you're going to see that happen.
Both suspects face several charges, including attempted murder. Washington also is accused of molestation and rape. Deputies say the other child who lived in the home in Thibodaux was physically unharmed. The Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office will hold a news conference tomorrow in Houma with an officer from Baytown, Texas, to provide more information.
The 15-year-old girl who law enforcement...
Let's go ahead and stop that right there, because the next story actually kind of just more reiterates what they've already said. I know the biological father probably feels really bad because, you know, he made a choice to try to let this girl be in her mom's life. The little girl had expressed the desire to be in mom's life. But unfortunately, mom and boyfriend didn't have good plans for this little girl at all. So every bit of his good intention just crashed down in front of his face and just ruined his baby girl. So I'm sorry that this happened, and I know he probably feels even lower. But I think that these people deserve a life sentence for what they did, because they tried to end this girl's life. And I think for that, they should not ever be able to get out of prison, either one of them. So keep that girl in your prayers. She's going to need surgery. Y'all just keep posted. If you see any articles or anything like that about this story that come up as far as updates, whether it be for the GoFundMe or anything else like that, make sure to shoot me an email or post it in the comment section so that way we can try to get a little more clarity, because we're going to try to work together on this to try to get you guys some more solid answers on this. But keep that baby in your prayers and pray that she makes as much of a recovery as she possibly can, and that these fools suffer at the hands of the justice that we can give here on earth, okay? Thank you.